American musician and DJ Moby claims he's been doing the behind-the-scenes bidding of anti-Donald Trump figures. In a recent interview, he said friends and contacts within the CIA had asked him to promote certain ideas online, including the alleged collusion between the president and Russia. And the reason for that, because Moby has a more significant presence on social media.
I've managed to make a few friends in the intelligence community. So they passed on some information to me and they said, like, look, you have more of a social media following than any of us do. Can you please post some of these things just in a way to sort of put it out there?
From the man himself, well, last February, Moby wrote a lengthy post on Instagram after what he described as a meeting with friends from Washington, D.C. In it, he says it's safe to say Trump was being blackmailed by the Russians. That's a quote. He also called the U.S. leader an incompetent president and controlled by foreign governments. Well, Brian Crabtree is the publisher of Talk40.com and a political talk show host as well. And he joins us live in the programme. Hello to you, Brian. What was your initial reaction to this claim by Moby that the CIA had asked him to make those anti-Trump posts?
Well, either he's lying, and a lot of times our political left in this country, of which Moby's part of, lies and makes up false equivalencies or people that don't exist or sources say in terms of our fake media in this country, some of our fake media. Or, even worse, there's people in the CIA who are supposed to be serving the intelligence community who are going to the liberal entertainment community and asking them to get out a message that they don't want to give to the American people from the intelligence community. I think either way, it's a very distorted discourse in America.
It's a bit of a bizarre situation, this, isn't it? Just reading through how this transpired over the past year. Why would Moby now reveal this? At the very least, it's put his so-called friends at the CIA in an embarrassing position, hasn't it?
Well, if you look at the past week, we've migrated somewhat from Russian collusion to Trump has dementia. And when Trump was accused of having dementia, he then had a meeting that resembled Celebrity Apprentice with senators from both sides. And it was anything but a demented guy. And so that failed fairly quickly after the Michael Wolff book. And I think they're trying to gin up the Russian collusion nonsense. And the American people aren't buying it. And the reason the American people aren't buying it is I want to know where the call that I received the other day that came from our Internal Revenue Service that was obviously an Indian outside of this country pretending to be an American employee to defraud me out of money. That's what we care about, and the media doesn't seem to get that in this country, that the majority of Americans don't care about some story that's now a year and a half old of Russian collusion that doesn't infect or affect our lives, if it's even true. And we can debate that later. We care about what's happening to us. So we have this detachment between our media and their agenda, which is to finally at some point prove themselves right about this president we've elected and that he's some sort of communist or something. And it's not going to happen because we care about things that really matter.
It's believed that, just on this, Brian, that the CIA actually dips into Hollywood now and again, editing the scripts of popular movies we've heard, like Argo, Zero Dark 30. Is that necessary for them to do that?
It's not their job. No, it's not necessary, and it's not appropriate. In fact, if directors of the CIA were to discover such type of outreach and behavior, unless it's at their direction, they should be fired. Whomever's doing it should be fired. Their job's not to reach out to Hollywood liberals to try to undermine, in a gross display of insubordination, their boss, the President of the United States. Whether it's Barack Obama or now President Donald Trump. It's insubordination, it's theft. I don't think it's espionage unless they're leaking classified data for that purpose, but it certainly undermines their role.
Well, it's one of the stranger stories of the week, this Moby thing, isn't it? Brian Crabtree, publisher of Talk40.com and political talk show host, thank you for your time this hour.